So welcome, 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 our brilliant colleague Scott. So appreciate your consistent leadership and solidarity. And as always at Setsi, we begin all things by giving thanks and acknowledging our creator, by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We acknowledge all our ancestors, all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So, Scott, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers and share a bit about your remarkable work?
Thanks so much for the invitation and that great introduction, Victor. My name is Scott Stirrett, and I am the founder and CEO of Venture for Canada. We're a national charity that fosters the entrepreneurial skills and mindset of young Canadians. And essentially, we believe that everyone can and needs to be entrepreneurial. This past year, we supported around 4,200 young people to work at around 1,000 small businesses across the country. And one of our focuses is that how can we provide more of an opportunity for everyone to be entrepreneurial across the country? So we focus our programming more so on equity-seeking young people. Around 70% of Venture for Canada's program participants last year self-identify as BIPOC, 55% as female, and many other dimensions of diversity. And Canada and the world has huge challenges, but also huge opportunities. And investing in the entrepreneurial skills of young people is how we tackle huge challenges such as lack of economic growth, barriers to reconciliation, and climate change.
That's absolutely incredible. And we've known each other for a few years now, and I can say without a doubt that your tenacity and resilience around this work is incredible. So once again, I just appreciate all that you do for so many. My next question is, what challenges and barriers do you face in your work? And what are some of the approaches you and your colleagues are taking to overcome some of these challenges and barriers?
One of our challenges is to continue to diversify our work. I think that the most resilient nonprofit organizations, in many ways, the most resilient organizations in general, are quite diversified in terms of what their operations are. And initially, we started with just one program, our fellowship program. This year, we will have 5 different programs, and we're launching programs in new areas, such as one new program that's going to help young people, international students, develop entrepreneurial skills and address a huge gap where international students often receive insufficient support in Canada. We're also launching another new program that's around entrepreneurship through acquisition and how do we help young people acquire existing businesses so that they can grow these businesses and create more social and economic value. So to recap, the challenge we face is the need for continued diversification, and we're addressing that challenge through launching mission-aligned programs that allow us to grow our impact.
That's incredible. I look forward to that acquisitions piece. At Setsi, we do a lot around social acquisitions and really trying to help charities understand they can do direct equity investments. And the concept of young people making acquisitions is powerful because of the lack of succession planning when it comes to business development, especially as folks are getting older. So that's absolutely brilliant. My next question, do you have a set of key priorities right now in your work?
Yeah, we have a few different key priorities. One is the launch of these new programs, so the 2 ones that I just mentioned. I would say another key priority is how do we foster the Venture for Canada network? So we're investing a lot in network building activities. We're about to host our 3rd annual Venture for Canada Fellow Alumni Summit, as well as celebrate our 10 years of creating impact with around 200 people in Kingston, Ontario that are members of the Venture for Canada community. And we're doing a lot of other things to continue to grow the VFC network, such as a 30-person employer advisory council that represents all of our 1,000+ employers from across the country, to our 39,000 person email newsletter. And how do we use that email newsletter to celebrate successes within the Venture for Canada community? And a third major priority for Venture for Canada is equity, diversity, inclusion. How do we form more partnerships with organizations led by equity-seeking communities, but also how do we further serve equity-seeking young people, equity-seeking entrepreneurs, and also ensure that equity-seeking folks have significant representation at all levels of the organization, from our board of directors through our broader staff team.
That's incredible. I really appreciate your leadership. So my next question is, what is your ultimate goal and what does success look like and feel like to you and your colleagues?
To us, at a very high level, success is a more entrepreneurial Canada. I think Canada often has an insufficiently entrepreneurial culture. In the whole scheme of the world, Canada has it pretty good. We have a huge amount of natural resources. We're in a pretty safe area of the world with the United States as our neighbor. And I think sometimes there can be a complacency that exists in Canada where do not take enough risks. So at a high level, success means a more entrepreneurial culture where more folks identify and act upon opportunities to create value for others. More tangibly, our vision is that within a decade, Venture for Canada is serving 25,000 young people each year across a variety of different programs, and that more young people have the ability to take those risks and be more entrepreneurial just in general in their career. And one of the things to note is that Venture for Canada is more than just fostering more people who found companies or found enterprises. As someone once said to me, the world doesn't necessarily need more founders, it needs more social impact. So what we care about at Venture for Canada is that we're fostering more young people who have the skills, who have the self-belief to take risks and ultimately build a better country.
That's incredible. Perfect segue to my second last question. How do you feel about the future of entrepreneurship in Canada? Are you hopeful? Are you pessimistic? Are you optimistic? How do you feel?
Long term, I am optimistic for the future of entrepreneurship in Canada. I think Canada is a place that has its ups and downs, and that there are moments when Canada is stronger than at other times. I think that long term, I'm optimistic for the future of this country because I think Canadians are amazing people who are incredibly resilient, diverse and committed to building a better country and world. I ultimately think too that Canadian institutions are quite adaptable to change and to challenge the long term. So while I think that there's a lot that we need to do to be more entrepreneurial as a country, in the end, especially in the long term, I'm optimistic that the work that we do to build a more entrepreneurial country will be realized.
Indeed, indeed. So my last question, do you have any closing thoughts or calls to action for our listeners and our viewers?
I think in particular for Canadians, my call to action is take more risks. Don't be afraid to be bold. Don't be afraid to sometimes swing for the fences. I think we can be too cautious sometimes as a people, as a country. And my closing piece of advice for any listeners is go swing for the fences, be bold, and take risks.
Incredible, incredible. Thank you so much. And I couldn't agree more. Calculated risks though, I give thanks for your candor, your leadership, and all that you bring to the ecosystem. And as always at Setsi, we begin or we close the way we began by giving thanks to our creator, by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We acknowledge all our ancestors, all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. Thank you so much, Scott, for all that you do for so many. So appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. And likewise, congrats on the work you're doing on the very successful recent conference. And Victor, I think you're a great example of an entrepreneurial Canadian leader who is willing to take strategic risks to create social impact.
Thank you, my friend.